One of the great highlights of covering the 2024 Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement was to witness the actual induction of my dear friend, the great Michael Cooper. Five-time NBA champion during the Showtime era, Defensive Player of the Year, one of the nicest guys I ever met in my life. Congrats to Coop for his enshrinement. It was well-deserved, and we were all there to celebrate it. So stay tuned for this episode. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, I'll see you on the backside. Well, it's a tremendous honor to be sitting here with the 2024 inductee, enshrinee at the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, Michael Cooper. How does that feel, Coop? Like knowing I'm a Hall of Famer, how does that feel to you?
I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah.
But again, it took a while, but better late than never, and I'm just enjoying the process of all this, and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you sit back and just say that I deserve this, or that all that hard work that
You know,
went
that's
into
the hard part. I like to think that I deserve it, but again, when you think of Hall of Famers, you think of people that have all NBA, first team, second team, all-star games or whatever. But I think after I look back and look at my body of work and the things that I've been able to accomplish, not just on the floor, but off the floor, puts me in the good company.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about that body of work for a second, okay? 5 championships, right? You were 6-man your entire career, basically, right?
Yes.
I mean, maybe you started a handful of games when guys were injured.
But 99% of my time was coming off the bench.
And not too many people are in the Hall of Fame who are 6 men, by the way.
And that's what makes it more of awesome.
And 60th pick in the 78 draft, right? So to be sitting here now, this far, in the future, it's got to be a little bit mind-blowing.
Well, that's what I said. You know, just the journey that I've taken to get here, and for my footsteps to be at the door of the Hall of Fame. And, you know, when you get at the doorstep, you want to knock. And I've knocked twice before, was denied, and finally it's open for me. So I'm very, very blessed and very excited about this whole process. I think this class is a very unique class with a lot of different people from different walks of life. But the 3 people that I'm actually impressed with going in is obviously Chauncey Billups and Vince Carter with Simone Augustus. And the opportunity to coach against her when she was in WNBA, and she was she was vicious.
Amazing. The great Pat Riley was your coach the entire time, and you became a coach, right? What did you take from playing for Pat, into coaching?
Coach Riley had a thing he called attention to detail, and he was very, very detailed about everything we did, our practice plans, our preparation for the game, our scouting reports, and I think that was the major thing I took from him, because when you get into coaching, it's definitely your preparation, but it's also your communication skills and allowing players to be at their best within the confines of what the team feels is going to help us win.
Right. So the consensus about you were the best teammate, right? You were the heart and soul of the Lakers of the Showtime era. I mean, every guy has said that, right? And did you feel that as because you were with the team before Showtime was Showtime, so when that all started to gel and Riles became coach, and Magic came in, and then James and everybody else, you and Kareem were the OGs at that time, right? You saw that transformation. I mean, young Byron Scott comes in. How did you feel as the veteran on that team, trying to be a leader?
Well, you know what, Pat Riley had always, and I think we had formed that before Coach Riley became the actual head coach. But I think Magic put it best: is that team is about together, everyone achieves more. And so that was that concept was always there. And all I try to do is play into my part. Obviously people looked at Showtime as an offensive weapon, but they forget that we were a very good defensive team too. And so my job was to hold people accountable, because if I'm going to play hard, you got to play hard. And it was the same thing on the offensive end. If I didn't take shots, guys would get mad at me. Coop, you got to shoot the ball. So I think it went hand in hand. But just being from a large family, and I had very good high school coach, Coach Turgeon at Pasadena High School, that taught me about teams. So that's what it's always been about. Teams win championships, not individuals.
Yeah, absolutely. And your number is going to be retired by the Lakers. That's going to be a pretty awesome night in at some point in January, right?
January 13th.
21 is going
what,
up.
Andy, that of all the things that have happened to me, that's probably going to be the one that's most touching. Because you know what? Wherever you play at in arenas around the country, and when you look up in those arenas, whether it's the Spectrum or the Boston Gardens or the Forum or the Crypto right now, you see the greatest players that's ever played for that organization, that they're up there. And that meant something, that they were winning championships. They were being very successful as individuals. They did something for the franchise. So for my jersey to go up there, that's going to be the one that, if there's any emotional touch, it's going to be the one. Because, you know, when that jersey goes up, you're up there with the greatest. And it's up there forever. So right now, the arena's crypto.com, but it might change in 4 or 5 years. But what won't change is that jersey always being up there. So it'll be left for my kids, my grandkids, my great-great-grandkids, and for all the Laker fans that knew about Michael Cooper.
Yeah, well said, Coop. So you're doing double duty here at the Hall of Fame, right? You're an enshrinee, but you're also presenting Jerry West with his unprecedented third induction into the Hall of Fame. The late, great Jerry West. We hate to say, late before his name, but what does that mean to you to be a presenter for Jerry tonight?
You know what? Jerry was always there for all of us. And, I like to think not only were we Jerry Buss's kids, but Jerry West's kids. And Jerry was myself, Byron, James Worthy, Kobe, A.C. Green.
Sure.
Him passing on, got to be there for him, because he was always there for us, whether it be on the court or off the court. Jerry was just always lending a hand. If he saw something in your game, he'd come to practice and pull you to the side and kind of tell you about it. But as we all finished our career and we went on to do whatever it is after basketball, and I'm glad I was able to stay close to basketball through the Laker organization, got a chance to spend time with him. Jerry helped me in my off-court life, going through transition periods as far as from player to a civilian or citizen. And Jerry was always there for all of us. And now that he's gone and his family came up to me and asked, I got to be there for him and for them.
Oh, that's beautiful, Coop. It's amazing. One other person we had to talk about being honored with a lot of purple and gold in his blood is Jack Nicholson. Is going into the Superfan exhibit. I mean, any memories of being out there warming up at the Forum or even in Boston Garden and seeing Jack up there with the shades on and that grid of Jacks, any great memories of that?
You know what? I really love the Hall for appreciating all facets of basketball. Because it's not just the players that make the game. It's the fans, it's the coaches, it's the general managers, it's the owners and things like that. So for them, having Jack in as a super fan was absolutely fantastic, because he was part of our ability to beat the Boston Celtics. And I think the greatest line I could ever say for Jack Nicholson that gave us a big boost was in 1984. We were poised to beat the Celtics, and we ended up losing that series, but in, I believe, the 4th game or 5th game, something like that, when Jack saw us losing, he mooned him. And what better way to feel
that was unbelievable.
Unbelievable, but you know what? That's what it was all about. Now, is it the right thing to do? No, but it was the thing to do. So, but no, Jack has always been a fan of ours, and one of the greatest things that we could do as players during the 80s and 90s was to look over and look to the sideline, and he was almost like a coach. And you could see Jack and Lou Adler there, and they had those seats and you knew things were going to be all right when Jack would sit back and smile with that grin on his face. It was almost like Chick Hearn putting the game in the refrigerator.
Exactly. Well, listen, Coop, as your friend and somebody who documented your entire career on the court, off the court as a coach, well, actually still on the court, but I'm just so happy and proud to be here with you, man. Thank you so much for
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.
It's part of the inner sanctum of your life, man, and it thrills me that you're going into the Hall of Fame. So congrats.
Thank you, Andy. And like I just said, people are all, and you being a photographer, one of the best in the business, it's like you were part of our family, because you were taking moments that we will live forever with us through the organization, through the NBA in general, and always love you for that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And one of those things that he was a contributing factor in every single one of those championships. Because because he played the way that he did in practice, it prepared you for a game, and everyone saw really the level of excellence and the pursuit of excellence that we all try to have for our gameplay. But I'm telling you, man, without Coop, we absolutely don't get that.
Well, what I saw immediately was his defense. He prided himself defensively. He could squeeze into the tightest situations.
Right.
You know, people would try to set picks on him, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because he would slide behind people. He was just so slippery defensively. Cooper is right up there with him, the way he guarded Bird, the way he guarded George Gervin. I mean, he was always guarding the other team's, best offensive player.
I think Michael Cooper and what he's been able to do in the league, back in his day, like you said, 5-time champion, like 8 times on the all-defensive team. I mean, the guy is one of the best defensive players to ever play the game. Yeah. And when you're doing Hall of Fame people or players, it's supposed to be the best.
Yes.
Some of the best at what they do.
Yeah.
And Coop, without a shadow of a doubt, was one of the best at what he did. Larry Bird has said that for years, and he's the best defensive player that he's ever played against.
Yeah. Well, that's
high praise. That's a high praise coming from Larry Legend.
Our fellow teammate, the guy that we love. The heartbeat of the Lakers, Michael Cooper, finally getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for his career. 5 championships, Defensive Player of the Year. You rarely see a player going for his defense, but anytime Larry Bird has a quote that says Michael Cooper was the toughest defender, that's Hall of Fame material right there.
Absolutely.
So, we're happy for Cooper.
So Coop obviously being a part of that legacy Showtime team, I was really blessed to have Coop as a coach. First as an assistant with the LA Sparks, and then him becoming our head coach, winning championships with Coop. Listen, I love Coop. We give each other the hardest time just because, we're very competitive.
That's how you know he loves you.
And that's how you know Coop loves you. If Coop's giving you a hard time, you know he loves you. If he's just like hi and really kind to you, you're not his person.
So Coop went out and did a very good job. So here, Kareem and I are looking at each other because he was an 11-year, 12-year veteran. Here I am a 10-year. So we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
Shaking our head like, we found a defensive player. We got us a stopper.
Yeah.
And so,
it's crazy.
and Magic kept jacking up, man, you stop DT, bro. What? So it was like fired up. And so Coop said, a light went off. Ding, ling, 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 ling. Hey, I think I'm going to concentrate my energy on defense.
Well, I thought he was very talented. He was known as a defensive player when he came in the league. But he was determined. I mean, he worked on his game, and that's the thing that I love the most about him, because his commitment kind of raised all of our commitment to the game and winning and the Lakers. But I mean, he was a beast on the court. I mean, he was just wouldn't back down. I remember in 1980s the finals. He actually guarded Daryl Dawkins part of the time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. And so he wouldn't back down. And that, I think, was a trademark for him, in my opinion,
Coop, I don't think he gets credit for this. He gets a lot of credit for being a defensive player, but I never ever hear anything about him being an Iron Man. And Coop was an Iron Man. I don't know the number of games. Obviously, we know about AC Green. But Coop played a lot of consecutive games.
Michael, as a 8-time all-defensive guy, defensive player of the year, 5 world championships, whether he came off the bench or started, he belongs in the Hall of Fame, and he belongs with the pantheon of names, if that's the right word, that are hanging from the rafters of the Forum when they're going to retire number 21. So Mike was irrepressible. He was one of the greatest competitors that I ever coached. And he was also a glue guy, a real glue guy for the team, and kept kept things right.
Wow, what an unbelievably great weekend it was covering the 2024 Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame enshrinement. We were at Mohegan Sun. We were at the MGM in Springfield. We were at Symphony Hall. We were all over the place. So thank you for everybody who sat down for an interview with us. Big, big thanks to the folks at the Hall of Fame for helping to make it happen, led by John DeLiva, Scott Cifaletto, Greg Porcino, of course, our great friend Charlie Rosenzweig, who helps make everything happen. I got my great crew led by producer Carlin Barker, our cameraman and editor Addison Xiao, our social media manager Michael Romanelli. Folks, this was a great, great weekend. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed all these interviews. And we'll be back next week with another episode on the Legends of Sport podcast. But before that, don't forget, follow us on YouTube. Tell all your friends. Follow us on Instagram at Legends of Sport, at ADB Photo Inc. Until next time, we'll see you for another great episode.